Dear learners, welcome you all to this module on Blended Learning and NEP 2020, which is Module 4 of Week 11 of the online course on Introduction to Distance and Digital Education. The objectives of this module are to explain the concept of blended learning and its use in modern education system, and to discuss the need and relevance of blended learning in the line of NEP in 2020. If we look at the blended learning an educational approach that combines the traditional classroom teaching with online instruction has emerged as a transformative method in the wake of the new education policy that is in 2020 in India. NEP 2020 emphasized the integration of technology in education to make learning more flexible, accessible, and effective. Blended learning perfectly aligned with the objective of NEP 2020 by blending the best of conventional teaching methods with modern technological tools to cater the diverse learning needs and promote holistic development. It is actually with the help of blended learning, the NEP tries to bring a paradigm shift in education. That is, means the blended learning, as we know, that represents a paradigm shift in education, offering a dynamic and interactive learning experience that transcends the limitations of traditional classroom teaching. It combines face-to-face instruction with online resources, enabling students to engage with course materials at their own pace and through multiple modalities. This approach fosters self-directed learning, critical thinking and problem-solving skills, which are essential components of the 21st century education envisaged by NEP 2020. If we look at what is the basic understanding of blended learning actually integrates traditional face-to-face instruction with online learning platforms, allowing students to engage with course materials at their own pace and convenience. This approach fosters interactive learning experiences, promotes self-directed learning, and accommodates diverse learning styles. By leveraging technology, blended learning transcends geographical barriers and facilitates access to quality education for learners across different socioeconomic backgrounds. Blended learning is the integration of traditional classroom methods with online activities, as ICT use in blended learning is developed as a complement to traditional learning and not to replace it. However, blended learning is not just about integrating face-to-face with ICTs. It involves reconceptualization and reorganization of teaching learning process. What is the key role of teachers in blended learning? In traditional classroom, teachers is the main role of teacher is to provide as it consider as knowledge provider. However, in blended learning, the role of teacher is shifted from knowledge provider to facilitator. It promotes teacher as a designer of the course or developer of the course, influence and affects students' learning as partner. It provides the personal and frequent interaction with students as a mentor or counselor, and the basic role of teacher to manage effective differentiation of learning, and finally it evolves teacher's role as coordinate the various course activities and evaluate the learners and also provide feedback on time. So this is the main role of teachers in the blended learning. While we think about the theory, what type of theory actually support blended learning practices, now the question comes, why is theory important? Blended learning is more than just tips and techniques. Understanding the key concepts in blended learning and what makes it successful are important. First, we talk about theory and the conceptualized frameworks for blended learning. It is not possible to review all models of blended learning here. Wang, Heng, and Yang in 2015 provide an important overview of all major blended learning theoretical framework. Our two important framework of blended learning, that is the complex adaptive blended learning system and the community of inquiry. These two models take a comprehensive view of the design and implementation of blended learning. They are applicable to blended learning in any segment of education with appropriate adjustment as necessary based on learners' need and characteristics. Whether you are a teacher or instructor in K-12 schools or colleges and the universities, the military and the industrial workplaces, or the corporate world. The complex adaptive blended learning system represents a diagram that outlines all the components of the complex adaptive blended learning systems or CABLE framework. The learner sits at the center of the model, but all the components impact each other. There are 6 elements in the system, all with their own subsystem. The 6 elements are the learner, the teacher, the technology, the content, the learning support, and the institution. Not only does each element have its own character and subsystem, but its acts in relationship to all the other. In any complex system, the relationships are dynamic and integrative. The adaptive system of blended learning emerges from the relationship and the effects of each element acting with and on the other element. It means it's a very important, the basic central point is the learner and how the learner is related to teacher, how the learner is related to technology, what are the contents should be provided to the learner, what type of learning support system, and what is the role of the institution. These 6 actually component which is considered as the core component of the complex adaptive blended learning system for delivering the learning mechanism to the learners or students. And regarding the community of inquiry theoretical framework in blended learning, as you know, we have already discussed this model in detail in week 2, module number 3. So please go through it again and you will get a clear understanding on this method or this theory or this model of blended learning. And now we are going to look at what are the 7 blended learning structure in education. Now that you have a view on the theory underlying blended learning, we can discuss more concrete applications of the types of instruction. Many factors must be considered when choosing how to blend in-person and online teaching and learning activities. In some cases, most interactions between the students and the teacher, as well as the direct delivery of instruction, take place in person and in the classroom, while materials and possibly some additional activities are delivered online. In other cases, most of the class activities occur online, with frequent meeting in person to solve problems and support community building. In some blended arrangements, students may choose which activities to complete online and which to complete in a classroom. Ideally, blends are personalized so individual students have the blend that best fits their age, life circumstances, and learning needs. These are called a Carter model. Students choose about what to take fully online, what to take fully in person, and when the design is available. Blended courses where they choose when to go to in-person classes and when to watch video, download readings, and complete assignments online. This kind of personalization is not always available. Most important is ensuring that students are able to function well as learners with any delivery method. Single mode or blended, even if it is not their preferences or the best situation for them. Teachers are valuable coaches for helping students manage in any learning situation. It is up to teachers and the learning designers to offer blended activities that best suit the subject and the learner's needs and the curriculum requirements. Not all unique and the interesting blended learning designs are one size fits for all model. There are 7 simple configurations of blended learning activities offered by O'Connell in 2016 that is explained for you to consider for your teaching situation. These examples of blended learning are drawn from higher education but can be shaped to fit any teaching and learning situation. Blended face-to-face class, also sometimes called it as face-to-face driver model. The blended face-to-face class model is based in the classroom, although a significant amount of classroom time has been replaced by online activities. Seat time is required for this model, while online activities are used to supplement in-person classes. Readings, quizzes, and other assessments are done online at home. This model allows students and faculty to share more high-value instructional time because class time is used for higher-order learning activities such as discussion and group projects. Another model like blended online class, sometimes referred to as the online driver model, and this class is the inverse of the blended face-to-face class. The class is mostly conducted online, but there is some required in-person activities such as lectures and labs. The flipped classroom. The flipped classroom reverses the traditional class structure of listening to a lecture in class and completing homework activities at home. Students in flipped classes watch short lecture video online and come into the classroom to complete activities such as group work, projects, or other exercises. The flipped classroom model can be seen as sub-model of the blended face-to-face or blended online class. The rotation model. In this model, students in a course rotate between the various modalities, one of which is online learning. There are various sub-models like station rotation, lab rotation, and individual rotation. Some of these sub-models are better suited to K-12 students or education system, and station rotation, for example, requires students to rotate between the station in the classroom at an instructor's discretion. At an instructor's discretion. Others work well on a college campus. The lab rotation model, for example, requires students in a course to rotate among locations on campus, at least one of which is an online learning lab. In an individual rotational model, a student rotates through learning modalities on a customized schedule. The self-blend model. While many of the blended learning models on this list are at the course level, self-blending is a programmer level model and is familiar to many college students. Learners using this model are enrolled in a school but take online courses in addition to their traditional face-to-face courses. They are not directed by faculty member or choose with which courses they will take online and which they will take in person. The blended MOOC. The blended MOOC is a form of flipped classroom using in-person class meeting to supplement a massive open online course. Students access MOOC materials perhaps from another institution or instructor if the course is openly accessible outside of class, and then come to a class meeting for discussion or in-class activities. In 2012, according to Campus Technology, San Jose State University piloted a blended MOOC using MIT circuits and electronic courses, with students taking the MOOC out of class while face-to-face time was used for traditional problem solving. Flexible model courses. Flexible mode courses. Flexible mode courses offers all instruction in multiple modes, in person and online. And the students choose how to take their courses. An example of this is San Francisco State University Harvard Flexible Model, which offers classroom-based and online options for all or most learning activities, allowing students the ability to choose how they will attend classes online or in person. Thus, the blended learning has never been a substitute for face-to-face learning and is also not merely a mixing to face-to-face and online mode. Rather, it is a well-planned combination of meaningful activities in both the modes, that is the in-person as well as online. According to the US Department of Education, a blended classroom and the web-based teaching and learning offers access to the widest range of learning modes and methods for developing students' skills and expertise as learner. Many findings of the blended learning shown that an increase in learners' ability to learn collaboratively, think creatively, and study independently and tailor their own learning experiences to meet their individual needs. So, if we talk about what is blended learning, then it is clear that blended learning is the use of traditional classroom teaching methods together with the use of online learning for the same students studying the same content in the same course. It is a thoughtful fusion of face-to-face and online learning experiences. There are also blended programs in which students study some courses in face-to-face in classroom and other courses are delivered fully online. In other words, blended learning is a term applied to the practice of providing instruction and learning experiences through some combination of both face-to-face and technology-mediated learning. During the technology-mediated components of these learning experiences, students are not required to be physically together in one place but may be connected digitally through online mode. For example, one blended learning course could involve students attending a class taught by a teacher in a traditional classroom setting while also completing online components of the course independently outside the classroom on an online learning platform. Blended learning is a new normal for 21st century learners. NEP 2020 also emphasized a learner-centered approach in teaching learning involving them in the process of learning through various individual and group activities. In face-to-face learning, even if a teacher wishes to reduce one-way tutoring and plans for group work or individual work, available time for such activities in the classroom is inadequate. As such, face-to-face conventional teaching does not promote to the desired level higher order thinking abilities and global competencies and creativity in students, resulting into skill gap and unemployability. The situation compels us to look for the other available alternatives, not as the substitute or for face-to-face learning, but as a supplementary and complementary measure. Emergence of newer digital technologies demand for leveraging it for effective teaching learning process at all levels of education. One of the best alternatives to accomplish this is the use of blended models of learning. Blended learning is an instructional methodology that combines face-to-face and ICT-mediated activities alongside integration of synchronous and asynchronous learning tools to transform learning into an enjoyable edu enterprise. NEP 2020 also has stress on online and digital education for ensuring equitable use of technology in teaching learning process. The recent rise in epidemics and pandemics necessitates that we are ready with alternative modes of quality education whenever and wherever traditional and in-person modes of education are not possible. In this regard, the National Education Policy recognizes the importance of leveraging the advantage of technology while acknowledging its potential risks and dangers. While addressing the usability of digital learning tools, the NEP argues that the existing digital platforms and ongoing ICT-based education initiatives must be optimized and expanded to meet the current and future challenges in providing quality education for all. NEP 2020 also anticipated an increase in government education spending from 10% to 20% by 2030, with an emphasis on supporting higher education, bringing down gender, social and economic gaps, etc. Guidelines for enforcing the inclusive strategy, in particular for allocating funds to different areas such as K-12 STEM education, higher education institution, and bridging the digital gap between the Tier 1, 2 and 3 cities through implementation of technology in the education sector are visualized in the budget 2021. It is expected that through the massive investment in EdTech and blended form of learning, the NEP 2020 would further enhance integrated experiential and immersive learning while enhancing vocational training and retraining facilities, non-academic education, and improving the skills growth to increase India's employability ratio that would help to build a modern India. However, it could be seen that in 2023 and 24, the Department of Higher Education received a high budget allocation of Rs 44,094 crores with an increase of 8% over the last year. So, blended learning, it is an integration of NEP objectives like blended learning aligned closely with the key objectives of NEP 2020, including the promoting universal access to quality education, fostering creativity and critical thinking, and leveraging technology for personalized learning. By leveraging digital platforms and multimedia resources, blended learning caters to the diverse learning styles and preferences of students, thereby promoting inclusivity and equity in education. Moreover, it empowers teachers to adopt innovative pedagogical practices and assessment strategies, facilitating continuous evaluation and feedback as advocated by NEP 2020. So, what are the key features of NEP 2020? Basically, NEP emphasizes on the holistic development of education systems. Say, it advocates for a holistic approach to education, focusing on cognitive, social, emotional, and ethical development. Integration of technology, as the policy recognizes the pivotal role of technology in modernizing education and promotes the integration of digital tools and platforms in teaching and learning process. The key recommendation of NEP to provide a flexible curriculum and assessment. As NEP 2020 emphasizes the importance of a flexible curriculum that promotes critical thinking, creativity, problem-solving skills. It also advocates for competency-based assessment systems to gauge students' holistic development. It also provides importance on personalized learning experiences, as the blended learning could facilitate the personalized learning pathways catering to individual learning needs and interests, aligning with new NEP, that is the 2020 vision of promoting a learner-centric education system. It also emphasizes on enhancing the accessibility and inclusivity. By leveraging digital technologies, blended learning can bridge the geographical barriers and provide access to quality education to learners to remote areas, thereby promoting inclusivity and equity, which is a very core principles of NEP 2020. As it is also recommend to integrate of experiential learning. Blended learning enables the seamless integration of experiential learning opportunities such as virtual labs, simulation, and multimedia resources, fostering hands-on learning experiences as advocated by NEP 2020. Professional development for educators. NEP 2020 emphasizes the continuous professional development of educators. Blended learning offers avenues for upskilling and reskilling teachers in pedagogical practices, technology integration, and digital literacy, enhancing their effectiveness in the digital era. It also promotes education should be a facilitator for the lifelong learning, as blended learning cultivates the self-directed learning skills and a growth mindset among students, preparing them for lifelong learning, an essential aspect highlighted in the NEP 2020 to meet the demands of a rapidly evolving knowledge economy. Regarding the addressing the opportunity cost, as the opportunity cost, the value of the next best alternative for gun pose a significant barriers to education, especially for individuals from marginalized communities. Blended learning minimizes the opportunity cost associated with education by offering flexible learning schedules, reducing commuting time, and providing access to resources beyond traditional classrooms. By optimizing time and resources, blended learning mitigates the economic burdens on learners and maximizes the returns on investment in education. Recognition of power learning experiences is essential for promoting inclusivity and catering to the diverse needs of learners. Blended learning facilitates the recognition of power learning through competency-based assessments, credit transfer mechanisms, and flexible learning pathways. By acknowledging the skills and knowledge acquired outside a formal education setting, institutions can enhance the relevance and effectiveness of educational programs while empowering the learners to progress at their own pace. So, blended learning is a combination of traditional face-to-face instruction and online learning has gained significant attention in education, especially in the light of the COVID-19 pandemic or particularly in post-pandemic situation. The National Education Policy 2020 in India acknowledges the importance of technology in education and emphasizes the integration of technology at all levels of education. Overall, the integration of blended learning approaches align with the goals and principles outlined in the education policy, contributing to the transformation of Indian education system towards a more inclusive, flexible, and technology-enabled framework. Already we have discussed what is the blended learning, what is the model of blended, what are the models of blended learning, what are the theories of blended learning, and what are the advantageous position of using blended learning in classroom teaching or to make a learner-centric environment in the education system. And now if we look at while using the blended learning, although it offers now numerous benefits, its successful implementation requires careful planning, infrastructure support, and capacity building. Addressing these issues to digital divide, internet connectivity, digital literacy, and teacher training is crucial to ensure equitable access and effective utilization of blended learning technologies. Moreover, there is a need to develop quality digital content, align curriculum with learning outcomes, and establish robust monitoring and evaluation mechanism to assess the impact of blended learning on students' learning outcomes and overall education quality. So, the symbiotic relationship between the blended learning and NEP 2020 has the potential to revolutionize the India's educational landscape, fostering inclusivity, equitable and high quality learning opportunities for all. By harnessing the strength of blended learning and aligning them with the principles and objectives of NEP 2020, India can pave the way for more resilient, adaptable, and future-ready education system capable of nurturing the next generation of global citizens and innovators. Blended learning emerges as a transformative educational paradigm that not only complements the objective of NEP 2020 but also addresses the opportunity cost of education through the recognition of prior learning. By embracing blended learning strategies and promoting inclusivity, the educational institutions can foster a culture of lifelong learning, empower learners from diverse backgrounds, and contribute to the realization of the goal envisaged in NEP 2020. Through strategic partnership and innovative pedagogical approaches, the integration of blended learning into the education system can pave the way for a more equitable, accessible, and sustainable future for education in India. So, thank you. In the next module, we are going to discuss purely on online learning and the challenges as prospect of digital distance and open learning or online learning, and what are the resilient approaches have been adopted for ensuring a sustainable education system for the people in India in the next module. So, see you and thank you.